In today's world, learning feels classy. You buy books, watch psychology videos, listen to motivational podcasts on your commute. Everything screams progress. But let me ask you something most people never do. Out of everything you've learned recently, how much have you truly applied? A study from Degreed revealed only 12% of what people learn ever turns into action. That means 88% of the time, when we think we're growing, we're just spinning in circles. Someone might study focus and productivity for hours but still can't put their phone down for 10 minutes. The problem isn't laziness or ignorance. The problem is this: learning has become an illusion of growth. Our minds chase the feeling of learning, not real change. And that illusion keeps us away from what matters most: the skill of failing forward. Why do the sharpest minds rarely chase motivational hacks? Because failure itself has a hidden power. A 2018 MIT study found that real failure creates new neural pathways success never activates. Harvard confirmed it. 90% of successful startup founders had experienced at least one major failure. The common thread? They succeeded because they stayed ready to fail. But let's be real. Failure isn't easy to accept. If I guaranteed your 31st attempt would succeed, would you eagerly embrace 30 failures? Or would you still hesitate? Because what we truly fear isn't failure. It's the image of failure. That moment when people say, "See, I told you it wouldn't work." Psychologists call this loser-phobia, a hidden fear that shakes even the strongest. Every successful person can point to dark days when no one believed in them. The fear of judgment itself can be psychological damage. As Irvin Yalom wrote, "Those who fear losing never live as their true selves. They hide behind masks instead of living authentically." Many of our goals are simply ways to silence suppressed fears. Fear of failure is just one mask. Think back. As kids, our parents stopped us from making mistakes. Slowly, we became perfectionists, terrified of being wrong. That's why failure is also self-discovery. Smart people know behind each failure lies childhood struggles, so they move toward it, not away. But today, everyone showcases success. No one talks about failure, and that's why we confuse losing with being worthless. But here's another trap no one talks about: comparison. We scroll through social media, seeing highlight reels of other people's lives, and suddenly our own progress feels meaningless. We confuse their timeline with our worth. But growth isn't a race, it's a personal climb. When you compare your chapter 2 to someone else's chapter 20, you'll always feel behind. The truth? Everyone moves at their own pace. Your setbacks are teaching you lessons their perfect posts will never reveal. The only person you should compare yourself to is the one you were yesterday. When something doesn't work, we think, "I'm useless. I don't matter." But failure is just another link in the chain of growth. Here's the paradox: you can lose without being a loser, and you can win without being yourself. So how do you know you're walking the real path? Take the myth of waking up at 5 a.m. for success. It works for some, but for others, it kills creativity. Why? Chronotype, your biological clock. Some brains thrive at 7 a.m., others not until 10. And it's genetic, not just habit. University of Adelaide researchers forced night owls to wake early. The result? Focus crashed, creativity collapsed, performance dropped. Now imagine someone forcing themselves up at 5 a.m. because a book said so. Not only does creativity die, but guilt sets in. Why can they do it, but I can't? As Einstein said, everyone is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing it's stupid. Each of us is unique. Growth comes from using our own rhythms, not copying someone else's formula. But society says, if you don't fit the mold, you're a loser. That's why mastering the art of losing is essential. Yes, accept that you're a loser. Maybe you wake up late. Maybe you can't sit through 4 hours of self-help. But maybe you're the one who acts immediately when inspiration strikes. That's your power. Stop forcing their mold. Find your own identity. Because today, anyone different is called a loser. Now here's the question. Do we always get results equal to effort? The Taoist philosopher Yang Zhu told a story. Effort said, "Success is mine. I create it." Fate replied, "If that's true, why don't all hard workers become rich? Why don't all honest people live long? Why do fools become leaders while geniuses stay unemployed?" The lesson isn't hopelessness, it's realism. We've glorified effort while ignoring luck and circumstance. Not everyone is born equal. Some have supportive families, others don't. Some had great teachers, others never did. And here's something most people forget. Life isn't just about the finish line, it's about the process. Think about it. A championship trophy shines for a year. But the discipline, the sweat, the lessons from each loss, those shape who you are forever. If you only chase results, you'll miss the beauty of the journey. Because every step, even the hard ones, carries hidden value. The late nights, the early mornings, the moments you wanted to quit, those are the building blocks of your strength. Real winners don't just celebrate achievements. They fall in love with the process, the daily grind, the small wins, the setbacks that taught them more than any victory could. They know that consistency beats intensity. 10 small steps taken every day will carry you further than one giant leap you only attempt once. Here's the paradox. When you embrace the process, success stops being a distant destination and transforms into a lifestyle. And once that happens, you can't lose, because every day becomes a win simply by showing up and playing your part. Many so-called losers were simply unlucky. One millionaire admitted his greatest achievement was just being born in California. That's luck, not effort. And this is why Taoist philosophy says, embrace losing, not as surrender, but as part of life. In a world obsessed with showing off success, the real win may be stepping away from the endless race, being okay with losing, and writing a story that feels right inside, not just one that looks shiny outside. If this video gave you a new perspective, don't just keep it to yourself. Share it right now with a friend who needs that spark too. Drop a real comment below. Tell me what part hit you the hardest and how you'll apply it. I actually read every single one, and your thoughts shaped the next videos. Smash the like button if you got value from this. It tells YouTube this content matters, and it helps more people find it. And of course, hit subscribe, because this is where we climb together, step by step, facing life honestly.